Hello, people, as usual, it's your boy Ambassador again doing this thing here. This one is a very particular one for me because I've been thinking about this for a while. And in a couple of other videos, I've highlighted some of this and then referenced the issue of our educational system failing us. I really want to take the case study of our history lessons. So I'm saying our educational system has failed us. Case study, our history lessons. I'm watching this video, which we're going to be sharing with you, and the lady is breaking down the importance of history to a people. And I'm beginning to think to myself, yeah, if this is the importance of history to people, and this is the, for lack of a better word, the nonsense our history fed us, can we imagine the counterproductive effect it will be having on us generation after generation? And we live with it, and we are still living with it, and we are doing nothing about it.
First heard of Mungo Park from Cordy Bellow's song Mungo Park. And I said, who is this man? A quick Google search told me that he's a British explorer that basically explored the Niger River area, which triggered the question, why do we know this man? The fact that this man made it to African history in any kind of way shows that we misunderstand the purpose of history lessons. Simply put, history lessons are a nation's way of indoctrinating the next generation on how great their nation is. Young people are supposed to leave proud of their nation and proud of those who came before us. I'm not convinced that Africans are doing this to the extent that the rest of the world is doing this. And I think it means we're missing a trick. Because if young people can see that those before them did great things, then they feel empowered to also follow in their footsteps. That being said, I do believe that history lessons need some reformation. The generation that has come of age now grew up in the information world, which means they had access to a lot of information that the schools weren't teaching them. So though they were hearing in school how great their nation was, as they came of age, they came to realize the errors that their nation made as well. If nations refuse to acknowledge the errors of their past, it will affect how young people perceive their nation when they come to find this knowledge out by themselves. Nations have an opportunity here to tell the full story and encourage young people to learn from those errors. Every child should be proud of where they're from. As Africans, we need to empower young people with the knowledge of the past so that they can see that they came from a long line of great people.
Let's break it down. What she mentioned was history should be a celebration of the past to motivate people towards the future. She mentioned things like, I remember when I met Americans and they were like, I'm going to call the embassy, I'm an American. No, two people get into some problem and the person says, do you know that I'm an American? I'm like, is that an achievement? Is that some backup? Is that some status? But they really meant it, like, I'm an American. I'll call the embassy and you see what happened. I'm like, good for you, man. I don't even know if the phone will ring when I call my embassy. I just fight and run away when I can. That was out there in Europe. Now, Americans are so proud of their Americanness and they'll do everything to protect their Americanness and being American because of their history. They thought of how they fought these wars, they colonized, they saved the world twice during the world wars. That's what they are taught, and that's what we are taught too. And then we question why we look up to America, we look up to Europe, we hope for them to save us, and people are migrating into Europe like crazy if they think that that's what is going to save them. So I always wonder, like, if our history was fed to us to denigrate us, to make us feel like we are slaves, we are easily manipulated, we cannot think for ourselves, we don't have any heroes to celebrate, all our heroes were killed in a very tragic manner or manipulated. If we study slave trade where they said our chiefs, we should be the brightest people and the leaders, we manipulated using a bottle of gin and a mirror. What does that tell us, the new generation? Do we think that we are very smart people? So if history is meant to build up a people's self-esteem, and that's what we were taught and we are still being taught, and our historians are looking at us and telling us, young children, young minds, telling them that your leader, the great chief from Galegao, this is this, they put two glasses on the table, eyeglasses. The white man put the glasses and the whole village was not moving, or they were scared that those glasses were seen, or they were going to tell the white man. It's crazy. Some of the things which we are fed in history, consciously or unconsciously, they break down our self-esteem as a people. The next aspect is our history downgrades us from the fact that we were discovered. I've said this before, we're not discovered, we're invaded. You cannot discover a people. I'm here, you come and tell me that you have discovered me. Why, when you discovered me, I also discovered you, because when we met, I did not know you were there, you did not know I was here. You met me, I discovered you, you discovered me. But our history is actually telling us, it will be there, the headings. When was this place discovered? So actually telling us that we were discovered. Like people discover land, trees, gold, we were also discovered. That's what our history is actually telling us, which is crazy. So most of the time when I watch some of these lessons, I start to think about some of these things. And I'm like, it's mind-boggling to imagine that these intelligent historians and bright minds still keep passing on this same message generation after generation. And also they make it sound like everything is given to us. So they'll tell us like, this person brought this to Africa, this person brought this to Africa. Our names of our countries, Cameroon, Nigeria, was not given to us by us. It was given to us. Medicines and things were given to us. Our clothing attire, I had this conversation recently, what we call today as Ankara African, this was brought from Holland. But for some reason, we have been taught to feel that this is what Africa is. This is the representation of Africa. That's why we're now flying the flag. We have been so unschooled that even what we are being schooled about now is a lie, but we are celebrating it as the truth. Not even that it's a lie, we don't even dig to it that deep to find out what does the Ankara cloth represent. And if at all the Ankara cloth was brought to us during slave trade, where bottles of gin and cloth were given to our chiefs, is that a good representation of our strength? Me included, man. At times I rock the Ankara and I say that's my Africanness. But I'm going through that process of uneducating and re-educating myself, and I'm just sharing some of these discussions with you guys, because while I'm thinking about it, I want more people thinking, because thinking about those things alone is just suicide, because I'll think about it, maybe get depressed, maybe want to start reacting about it, but I'm alone and then I get killed, bro. So I'm trying to get more people to think in the right direction. Also, as I said, it makes us look stupid, because when you look at slavery and colonization or colonialism, the African was stupid. People look for all kind of excuse to say we were deceived, we were manipulated, it came religion. But did they put off your brain when the person was coming to tell you that this and that? So it does not make us look good when we study our history. Also, we lost most of the wars, or most of the colonization wars, from Calicut, Bali, whatever against the UPC revolt. Everything ended with the African lost. The greatest one we even know, Menelik, who tried to invade, was I think Ethiopia, and this great man, what was his name? This guy, El Selassie and the rest. The Ethiopians resisted. They came back for the return leg, and they crushed them. The greatest African warrior we celebrated a little bit, Shaka Zulu, fought as much as he could, but he was crushed. So every war in Africa ends with the African loss. So we feel like we are losers. That's what our history is teaching us. Now, it also makes us feel like others always come to solve our problems. From the beginning, religion came, they came to cure our disease, they came to solve hunger, famine in Ethiopia, the African is suffering, the exterior comes to help us. So we feel like we are that beggar always trying to receive. Also, it makes us feel like we as a people are inadequate, because if you cannot solve your own basic needs, then what does that make you feel like? Inadequate. Also, I feel like our heroes are not celebrated enough. I'm driving through, I will say it, Cameroonians know, Lycée Leclerc. Who was Leclerc? What does he stand for? We don't have Lycée Omniobe, we don't have Lycée Ndeli, we don't have those things. Prime Minister's Lodge in Boya, what does it stand for? All of the things we name our great points about, who are we celebrating? All of our heroes, Lumumba, Sankara, I will call them. What sports do we have after them? What books are dedicated for them? How does their story presented to the young African mind? Our heroes are not celebrated, and hence we don't feel we are heroes. We feel like we are losers. And that's why I push forward the message saying that our history lessons have failed us. And I've broken down the case study, and which, as I said, This is not to say that I'm right. It's just for us to think about it. Some of these things we have not even thought about it. At first glance, when you are drinking your bottle of Expo, you just insult me. Lufinyang like parallel school. That stupid guy is talking too much. But please, all I ask of you is when you go home and the alcohol is cleared from your brain, think about it. What was he really saying? Is there a little bit of sense in what he's saying? What can I do about this? How can I correct this? How can we make our society a better place? As I said, we're trying to build a critical mass, get people thinking, and we can do this by liking, sharing, commenting, taking it to social media, taking it to the bars, even while we are drinking. These are the things we talk about, not Real Madrid versus Manchester. Manchester is not the Canonian village. Real Madrid is not the Canonian village. These are towns in Europe. It would be better if we're talking about Canon and Opopo than to be talking about Canon versus Dekasi. It should not be a matter of Real Madrid. It should be better if we're talking about a love story in Boya. It should not be about some Angelo and Ina from Philippines or some people from Brazil. All of these things are making us to feel that it's always better out there. Let's talk about our problems and face our problems and then try to build our society. As usual, it's your boy Ambassador. I'm out.
Just my opinion.